And he started out the meeting, the psychiatrist, by saying, I really like your son. I've come to know him the last 30 days. He's very funny. He's very smart, he said. I said, we love our son, but we're in the prison. He was trying to deal with his mental health problems and didn't understand. And he said it wasn't an illogical choice. It made him feel better for a while, but it's not a good choice because it's just a black hole. The more you drink, the more depressed, the more you drink. It's an endless hole. So I didn't do anything about it. I'm not a clinician. And so I didn't know what to do. But people would come up to me, particularly in that first year, at gas stations, grocery stores that knew about the store, recognized my face. And they would say, hey, Judge, you're looking good. I knew what that meant. I said, thank you. I'm feeling better, too. And finally, I got the courage up to say, my son's doing better, too. Oh, I didn't want to ask about your son. I said, that's okay. We saw alcohol only. I didn't see the mental health component. He's doing great now. He's getting treatment now. Evidence-based treatment works. And then all of those people, all strangers to me, would then open up. My mother, my father, my sister, my cousin, my brother, my mother, myself. I heard about anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, schizoaffective disorder, suicide ideation, suicide attempts. Oh my God, I was eye-opening to this baby boomer. I go home and say to my wife, we thought we were alone down there in the valley of mental illness. Oh, a lot of families down there. We just never looked up. 10 years ago, I got a call from a psychologist in Concord, New Hampshire. He said, I have a good friend who's a psychologist in Maryland. Her name is Barbara Van Dalen. She wants to start this campaign so that people will understand the most common signs of mental health issue, like we understand the signs of a heart attack or stroke. We didn't always, by the way. Almost everyone knows some of those signs now. I thought it was genius then and now. So I talked to my son and my wife, and I said, if I get involved in this, our family story is going to be back on the news. And my son said, Dad, I think it's really important that you do it. And so I started. I raised some money. I put together a steering committee. This is mental health awareness in 2016. Anyway, we're going to launch it at the State House. The State House was empty. I don't know if you guys have been to the State House. Beautiful house chamber. Had 400 theater-style seats. Beautiful balcony, huge ceilings, large oil paintings. It's a gorgeous room. So the speaker, who I knew, said, you can use our chamber. We're not in session for your announcement. Only at 10 a.m. I said, who's coming to this? On a work day? My wife and I got there that morning, and I thought it'd be 25 people. There were 425 people. 425 people. Every member of our congressional delegation, our governor, the Catholic bishop, the Episcopal Church, the Jewish community, law enforcement, the Attorney General, teachers, medical providers, and families. It was stunning to me. And Barbara Van Dalen, the genius, was there that day. She was speaking. I was behind her on the podium. And she said to this distinguished crowd, does anyone here this morning that's been untouched by mental health problems? You, your family, your neighbors, your friends, your co-workers, if you've been untouched by it, she said, would you raise your hand? And so I didn't know what to expect. I figured I'd be counting it. No, no, I didn't. Not one. I said to her afterward, Barbara, how is that possible? That happens almost everywhere I go. Just because people and families don't talk about it doesn't mean they're not dealing with it. And then we waited to see, we had no plan. How do you have a plan? We waited to see if anyone would ask us to speak anywhere. And so in the last 8 years now, I've spoken almost 900 times, all over New England. Been to 370 middle schools and high schools. I've spoken to 120,000 kids. I've hugged thousands of kids who've come up to this grandfather who never met after my talk to open up about their own lives. It has been life changing for me. And so I started my journey of speaking so that I could educate kids that it wasn't just them, had a name. My son thought it was just him. And also to educate parents about some of this, which I didn't realize. So they wouldn't feel their own child like I felt my child. But what it turned into, I suppose I did some of that, but what it turned into is kids educated me. Kids educated me about what their lives were like and what stresses they were experiencing. Oh my God, it really impacted me. It impacted me so much, as I told these guys, during COVID, I asked Dartmouth Health, for who I was benefiting. They allowed me to go around and do this. I said, can I write a book about what I've learned from kids? I said, sure. So I said, maybe I should have done that. Now I got to write it. So anyway, I wrote the book. It's called Back Roads and Highways, which is what I did. My journey to discovery on mental health. And then 2 years ago, I did a TED Talk so I could try to reach parents. So they would understand what I hadn't understood, but I understand now about their own children and your generation. You guys are amazing, by the way. I mean, yeah, I'm not trying to be sources. You're smarter than I was. You're more worldly wise than I was. And you are the least judgmental generation in the history of the United States. So hats off to you. A lot of what I've seen, not all of them, obviously, is socially and culturally induced. I'm not going to show my age, but this didn't exist in my world. I had a phone with no answering machine in my house. So if you tried to reach me and nobody picked up, I never did get called. Uh, I spent my Saturday mornings as a child watching cartoons until my mother said, you should go out and play. It's 10 o'clock. I knew what go out and play meant until I did that for the balance of the day. I spent no time looking down at my phone. We didn't have phones. I spent my childhood looking people in the eye. Makes a difference, by the way. I spent some of my childhood being bored to death. I didn't have this default to go to. We didn't have those things. I played in my neighborhood. I played in my schoolyard. I did well in school because I wanted to do well in school, not because my parents said, what you get today in your quiz. So you guys are living in a very different world. And some kids are using medication that shouldn't, and like drugs or alcohol, to deal with it. And my message to you is, I might have been you. I'm not trying to say, look at me, I'm perfect. I didn't grow up in your world. I didn't have your stresses. I wasn't being judged every day by people I don't even know. I wasn't being threatened by people, bullied by people. I didn't have that world. But you guys lived there. And when I went into my high school every morning, by the way, nobody ever needed this. Nobody. We never had shooting drills, active shooter drills. I understand why I have them. I didn't have that. Are you kidding me? I never once grew up and said, if I go to a movie theater, I'd be shot. If I'm at the mall, can someone shoot me? You are growing up in a very different world. And I would say to you, I apologize. I apologize. Something happened. It's not fair to you. You guys didn't create this craziness you're living in. But my generation must have seen it or saw it coming and didn't stop it. And so my message to folks who might see this is talk to your parents. Don't be afraid. They may not like to hear it, but that's okay. You know, my message is it's okay not to be okay. It's just not okay anymore to pretend you're okay. So when you get groups like this together, you have no idea how much I admire you for doing this. But we should be able to have these discussions in an auditorium. And just because you guys are the only guys who come today, it doesn't mean there aren't hundreds more kids who benefit from it. They just don't have the courage to say, me too. That's what this is about. So it makes you feel alone. You're not alone. 20%, 1 out of 5 kids in this high school has a mental health challenge. 1 out of 5 adults does too. You realize after COVID, 2023, the Center for Disease Control does these national tests. You guys may take them here, I don't know. 70 high schools in New Hampshire did that year. They're anonymous. What's your age and your school? What's your sex? Then the questions you answer anonymously. 46% of high school girls in the United States of America in that study reported they were depressed. The question isn't, are you depressed, yes or no? The question was, have you been sad or hopeless for 2 consecutive weeks or longer so you weren't able to engage in normal everyday activity? I asked the head of psychiatry at Dartmouth Medical School, is that a good way to answer the depression question? So that's a great way. 25% of high school girls, 2023, said they had given serious consideration, that's the question, to ending their own lives in the previous 12 months. 15% said they had made plans to kill themselves. 11% had attempted suicide 1 or more times. In New Hampshire that year, it was 8.9%. It was 11% in Maine. And so what are we doing about it? What are we doing about it? People like Bob, and I told him that earlier, I said it now, we need 1,000 more of you. We need people, we need the capacity to talk to others, to have referrals, to have skilled and knowledgeable, non-judgmental, informed people tell you that what you're dealing with is not unique to you. I mean, the worst thing you could feel is what's wrong with me? Why am I like them? Well, a lot of them feel just like you. They just don't have the courage.
I think what Bob's doing too is it's very peer counseling based. We're trying to get more people because, when I first looked at Bob, I probably judged him too, to be honest, when I was a freshman. I was just, whatever. But, that's why I think we've kind of teamed up. So, I can be that barrier in between, and get more people to come to the group and get more people to just talk about it. And, it's not something to be ashamed of. Everyone has issues. Literally everybody.
It is so nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's funny. In every other part of our life, if we have a problem, we admire people who deal with it, right? But when it's mental health, ooh, or substance, what's wrong with you? It could be me, Shannon. It's like the idea that you are a bad person is ridiculous. But parents are scared to death of these topics because they think it's a reflection on them, or they think that means your life can never be successful. That's also nonsense. Some of the people, and I'll say this, a fellow from whom I learned to practice law, who was a gifted lawyer, was a recovering alcoholic. I wouldn't have been a trial lawyer. I wouldn't have been as good as I was at it, but for his skills. One of the judges I knew not on the Supreme Court, but in the court system, was a recovering alcoholic. He was immensely talented, enormously decent. Like you want your son to grow up and be like that person. We need to change our mindset. And when you're young and you feel like there's so many people judging you and controlling, it's going to be hard. I mean, I would find it hard. But one thing you need to know is you have done nothing wrong. Like, if you have a mental health issue or a substance problem, it may well be treated like mental health concern. But 85% of the time, those are co-occurring problems. It wasn't my son. Uh, so I guess my advice is reach out and get help. The only mistake you can make is pretend it's going to go away. It's not going to go away, but it can, but not on your own. You can't will it away. And that's why people like Bob and your association with the school is incredibly valuable. But I don't know if you guys have any questions either. But that's what triggered my whole purpose in life. So the last 8 years of my life has been my life's purpose. And I would speak every day if I could.
I think the most impressive part about your story is just the fact that your mind did the complete switch, like the realization of like, oh, like I'm like there's things I didn't know, I didn't realize. Like there's so many people who probably have been in your situation who had the exact opposite reaction and just was like, no. You know what I mean? Just
My experience has been anecdotally, a lot of people with mental health problems are really quite bright.
When I was in eighth grade, it was like the beginning of the year, and like the summer was really rough for me. Like a lot of shit happened, and I went to like a residential in Illinois. Like I was far, and I came back, and everybody. I was gone from September to like November. I missed Halloween. I missed my birthday because I was in residential. And I came back, and like I was so scared to come back because I was like doing half days. So I was like, okay, it's not that bad. But I came back and everybody was staring at me. And like my friend came up to me and was like, oh, these people are saying this, these people are saying this. And like, I was like, you know what? So I skipped a whole nother week of school because I was like, I'm not doing this. So I was so scared of what people were going to think of me. And then I finally was like, you know what? I did this. I came back, become a whole new person. I changed myself. I fixed myself. And everybody was like, they were proud of me, but still would still keep talking about me because I wasn't like them. I wasn't normal.
You are normal. It's totally normal. You know, it's the thing about this. This is part of the culture. If somebody has a mental illness, you often say he or she is mentally ill. If you had cancer, we don't say he or she is cancer. We say they have cancer. We don't compress the identity to the illness. Whatever you're dealing with, it isn't who you are. It's what's bothering who you are. They're not the same thing. And the other thing I would tell you, and having been in high school 100 years ago myself, and having been around those kids since grade school, many of them, they were part of my everyday life. And they were pecking orders. And then you graduate. And then pretty soon you don't see them anymore. And after a while, nobody cares. You know what I mean? It's just high school is not real life.
I
High school
said
is
that.
not real life.
It
Trust me.
doesn't feel like real life.
Huh?
You walk in it doesn't feel like real life. You walk into the building and it's like all the societal expectations are on blast. Like
Yes.
everything matters. And you go out into the real world and you see these people from school and I almost laugh. I almost laugh to myself. I'm like, they're just some kid. Like feels so much different when you're in this condensed feeling. It's like a whole different world.
Um, do not judge yourself by your current age or your current location. Do not do that.
For your current ability to do anything.
Oh my God. Once you graduate from high school, unless you really go out of your way, within 3 years' time, you won't see 80% of the people you go to high school with. Right? The people used to, whatever that was, whatever that matrix was, will be gone. Trust me. Uh, and anybody who would give you a hard time, that tells you a lot about them and nothing about you.
Thank you so much to John Broderick for being on our podcast. It's such a great opportunity for us, and we're genuinely so grateful to have him. It really is a great way for him to get his message out there and for us to promote our podcast, and as well as the React campaign and Heads Up will also be linked somewhere around here. We would really appreciate if you could support us as much as possible, and we thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a good rest of your day. As like I said, I'm Maya.
I'm Jacob.
And we are the Live Free Recovery podcast team.